Peace and love, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Aisha Sisterhood podcast with Queen Sue and the sisters, where we are presenting our topic, a continuance of our topic, the entitlement of the youth today, part 3. So it's Sunday, March 15th, 2026. And we've been keeping this topic rolling because I mean it's a heavy topic. So we gonna keep discussing it to, you know what I mean, to make our voice heard. I'm gonna kind of do some fillers until I can get my sisters in here. We're running a little behind, but we're gonna keep this schedule going. Far as with the greetings, with peace and love from all of us of the Aisha Sisterhood. With that being said, usually we have a word from Queen Sue first and foremost, and I greet my sisters, but I'll do that along when they join. But we definitely want to make sure first and foremost that we usher in God before we do anything, because without Him we are nothing. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, praise be to Allah, the cherisher, sustainer of the world. Most gracious, most merciful, master of the day of judgment. Thee do we worship, thine aid we seek. Show us the straight way, the way of those who bestowed your grace, the way of those whose portion is not wrapped, and those who go not astray. Amen. Amen. I figured it was going to be some people that add until then, but that's okay. We're going to keep it moving. So, on the topic of
is it you? Is it you? Is it me? Is it me? Yes.
peace and love, sister.
Peace and love.
Peace and love, peace and love. I've already gotten us started. We've already had our prayers. We just need a word from Queen Sue before I jump into the topics at hand. Or would you like for me to keep talking, give you a minute? Okay, I'm gonna keep talking and give her a minute to join in. Hopefully we're not having any laggings. And my apologies, our apologies for last episode where we were speaking on part 2 of it, where we end up having to switch it over to Facebook, but we still had a really great conversation through Facebook. However, we are back on our podcast this week, so that's good. I miss being in the studio, and doing it. So with that being said, we are back, as you can see. Okay. We got a little technical difficulty. There we go. There we go. Okay, Queen. Can you hear me, sister?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Looks like your camera is frozen, but if you can hear me, then that's still good.
My camera frozen.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there you go. You're moving around. There you go. There you go. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday to
Yeah.
you.
We in this thing. We in the land of the living. So
And
we
that
already
is a wonderful blessing.
absolutely, absolutely. So a word from our queen. What you got for us, Queen Sue?
Greetings.
I did pray, but we can pray again too. But we waiting on your word.
Yeah, you know what? I need some of that prayer over here.
Okay, and I'm always praying for you, so you're gonna always be good through whatever's going on.
Yeah. Let's get that prayer going on. So you said the prayer already?
Yes, ma'am. You are live to greet our audience. They love to see you. You famous.
Oh, Jesus. You know what? You play too much. You know what? Well,
You
we're not
famous.
trying to be famous. We're just trying to multiply.
That part.
We're trying to
That part.
multiply. I'm trying to get the word out there where it needs to be done there. And I'm going to trust
Mhm.
with everything inside me that Sister Fatima led it with the prayer, and being on time is what we're supposed to do. You feel what I'm saying? So
That's
I'm
right.
not going to reiterate on where she came from. I'm just going to be a blessing as we go forward. So I just want to say
Mhm.
hello to everybody out there and how you doing? How
Mhm.
you doing? How you doing? We got some good things lined up for you guys today, and we hope that you enjoy. We hope that you all interact, and we also hope that you all carry the message from here
Mhm.
and around the globe.
Yes,
Let's have fun. Amen.
absolutely. So I figure I would so this week on the entitlement of the youth, and yes, like I was did apologize as far as the fact of our technical difficulties last week where we actually had moved the stream over to Facebook, but we still had really good conversation. Sister D Woo was sharing a really great concept on the entitlement of the youth, some of her personal experience and the things like that. So to be able to enlighten from some of the things that she spoke on. I also kind of got some other questions together to really just because it's such a broad understanding or a broad topic, you know. But there's so many different ways we can break this down to be able to see or be able to help somebody, maybe somebody that's actually listening, to be able to see the errors of their ways and our ways. You know what I mean? As
Mhm.
parents, as the elders, or people that's older than what we see in the youth. Because again, my stance has been been remaining far as the fact that it starts with self. It goes back to self, what we allow, you know what I mean? And where over time we've been able to see that change. And then it also goes back to, generations change. A lot of stuff that I see now, I just, it amazes me and shocks me to be able to see, what's allowed and what goes on today. So it's just as times change or whatnot, we're gonna see differences. Um, so yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Well, as long as we got that,
yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
I said, as long as we got that understanding,
Mhm.
understanding is the key to everything.
Absolutely. So, I had a few questions that I came up with. I'm gonna put them in the comments as well, so that way, maybe later on, if we don't get to cover it now, but just go back to some of the questions that we did ask today, and then we could just elaborate on them, Queen. Where what is the
Mhm.
difference? What do you think the difference between entitlement and confidence is when it applies to our youth?
Entitlement and what else?
Confidence.
Competent
Confidence, like to be confident.
or having the confidence.
Right.
What's the difference?
Yeah, what is the difference
Um,
between entitlement and confidence? Because they really go kind of close together when people feel like that they're confident enough for something, and then entitlement is feeling like that's yours. You're entitled to it, versus the fact of being confident and knowing, like,
yeah, when you when you confident of knowing something, you know what I'm saying. You just reassuring yourself that that you handling the task, uh, to its full capacity. But entitlement, that's completely different to me. You
Mhm,
feel like, shoot, that something is owed to you. Like you you own the right to be disrespectful. You own the right
mhm,
to
mhm,
be verbally with how you address different individuals. To me,
right.
confident, they can go. I don't think them two match inside the same skillet.
Well, that question was more of like with entitlement, is something that usually they just feel like that that they can have, versus like the having the confidence of feeling like that you're owed that. You see what I'm saying when I ask that?
Oh, so you saying that entitlement is what? Say that again, so because I need to eat up something too that that I ain't digested. Okay, now you say
Okay.
entitlement is
So
what?
entitlement, yeah. So entitlement is when you feel like that somebody owes you something. And the confidence in knowing
Mm-hmm.
that they owe you something. I mean, it's still a form of entitlement, but to have confidence. So like we walk around, we're supposed to have confidence, right? You know, and whatever it is that
Mm-hmm.
we do, confidence is a big key. But in entitlement, now see, look, now you get confused how I had it because I was really thinking about this. Like, far as the fact of the difference in entitlement is that you feel like somebody owe you something, but the confidence of it is knowing that I'm gonna get that, the respect behind it. Like that's I'm confident that that's me right there. You know what I mean? Feeling entitled to it versus the fact of the of actually knowing that that's yours.
Mm. I guess I have to ponder on that for a minute because, like
Okay.
I said, um, confidence, will take you a long way. You hear what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
entitlement will take you into a spiral.
Okay, well, why Queen Sue figured out what is she'll probably be right back on. But my answer to that is the difference between entitlement and confidence is like with entitlement, again, you feel like that someone owes you something. Confidence, in my opinion, is going to be more of a personal thing. You can personally feel confident, and I mean, as long as it's not hurting anybody and it's putting you in a better position or whatnot, it's okay to be confident. So when we talking about the youth today, if they're confident in their decision and they have the right things to be able to back that up, it's okay to have confidence. But the entitlement usually kind of comes where, you get mad or, self-reflection, self things, usually things that aren't really positive tend to happen with entitlement versus the fact of confidence. Because when you're confident, you're not going to argue about it. It is what it is, and you're sure about it. Versus entitlement, where whether you're sure or not, um, you just gonna go for it. So that's my breakdown of what I'm meaning when I ask that question. Um, because there is a difference. The confidence side of it is usually the more positive side, and the entitlement usually kind of comes with the breakdown of you don't care how you do to get it. So that's my breakdown of what those two differences are. Hey, Queen, you're back.
Girl, I flipped in and I flipped out. I said I must have touched the wrong button or something like that. I don't know. I
That's
don't
all
know.
good.
You got to have a desktop where you ain't touching nothing.
I know, right? That's definitely have been my easy go-to here lately. Because with my phone, I used to definitely click in and out.
Hmm.
Yeah. So another one I
Yeah.
have is is youth entitlement a real problem, or is it just that older generations are misunderstanding the the younger ones?
You said if youth entitlement, what again?
A real problem, or is it just that the older
Yeah.
generation is misunderstanding the younger ones, or is it just more of a
No,
misunderstanding?
no, it's
No.
not no misunderstanding. It's not no misunderstanding. Ain't nothing no misunderstanding. Entitlement, uh, the way that is being put out there is that they demanding something that they not entitled to.
Hmm.
It ain't an older person thing because it just ain't with it's some older people that feel they entitled. You feel what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Entitlement ain't got no age bracket on it really. But
Hmm.
it's more noticeable when you up under age with the disrespect. You feel me?
Right. So, or is any part of that where there's some misunderstanding sometimes that the youth is not, they feel like that they're not understood, like your parent or your elder is just not understanding you and that could cause them to, to feel
No,
like that maybe they're not being understood.
no, it ain't that they're
Because
not
I've
being
ran into
understood.
that.
It's huh?
Because
I
I've
don't
ran
feel that
into
they
that.
being okay. I don't feel that they are being understood. They might not know how to display the
Okay.
inner feeling they have, and then it turns disrespectful.
Hmm.
It ain't what the other person is receiving from them, it's their deliverance.
Right.
You feel me?
Right. Now what you do is how you do it. Right. Yeah, because the reason why I was saying that I have ran into that, and that's not so much
Mm,
just on the entitlement part, because being entitled is just that's a whole nother thing. But the youth today, a lot of the things that or the ways that they act out is because of not feeling like they're understood. So we can kind of take that as entitlement, because the simple fact, to
okay.
them, they're just trying to get you to understand them. And we got to go back to the fact of understanding that we've been their age before.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We've been their age, but it was a format set before us while we was their age. It was the do's and it was
True.
the don'ts. You understand me?
It was just known,
It
common
was the
sense.
do's and it was the
Mhm.
don'ts.
Right.
And you knew what
Common
not
sense,
to do,
simply.
just as
Right.
well you knew what to do.
Right. Right. That is so true. Like things were a lot more understood. It was like just it came to you, just clicked in your head, versus now you having to break it down. Like, and a lot of
Hmm.
that could just be because a lot of the people that really like cared like that are not really around like that anymore. Or not even necessarily speaking up, because now when you're talking to somebody else's child, or you're talking to your, well, I can't say necessarily your child, because your child, they gonna 9 times out of 10 they gonna hear what you're saying. But like when you try to you know tell someone else's child, or someone else that something's wrong or whatnot, there's a defense to it. Ones tend to get defensive as if like they're trying to hurt them, but versus the fact they're just trying to give them another way of thinking about things. So,
Well, uh, that comes from uh whole vocabulary of different things from the parent.
mhm,
You feel me?
right.
For one thing, the way you raise your child is the way that they exemplify who they is and what they are.
Right.
You feel what
Hmm.
I'm saying? If you raising a child in a structured environment, telling them the do's and the don'ts and the respect, and if you implant that inside of them with a iron fist, and they know
Hmm.
the do's and don't, and know that you're not playing with them, then they would put an example out there on their learning and they habitats on where they at.
Hmm.
But if you playing with a child, if you sometiming with them, if you
Hmm.
allowing disrespect with them, if you even giving them a little rope, you know what I'm saying? They gonna
Hmm.
hang you with it. It
True.
ain't no way around it. It's all about the structure, and it's all about how your system is built up to how you will have a functioning human being child as yourself.
Hmm.
Because what I mean, not trying to act like we're robots and all of that type of stuff. I'm
Right.
just
I
trying to
get
say that
you.
if we brought up in the household, right? Let me just use some examples to you. We brought up in the household, we wasn't gonna be in the room where there was other adults in there having
Right.
conversation, looking up in their mouth, mimicking what they were saying, mimicking them drinking, mimicking them smoking, mimicking doing any ill-framed things they ain't had no business doing, because those things was kept from our eyesight. You get
Right.
what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And the thing that was in front of us was how we was gonna show an example on how we was raised as far as yes ma'am, no sir, May I have this, may I not have that. You hear what I'm saying?
Right.
Speak when you're spoken to. It's so many different values that's been watered down for a child to live by the example on how they supposed to be counterproductive when they go out into society.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just don't blame our children for um I just don't blame our children for the lack that's going on far as the entitlement. Uh, we ourselves are more the one that's in control of all the mishaps and everything that's taking place because that's the foundation that we laid down.
Right.
Uh,
So let me ask you this.
I,
Uh, pardon me. So let me ask you this. On what you were saying, far as the fact of when we raise how we raise them up. So let's say like you've done everything, you've told them all the right ways. Does that really entitle them to think that they're, because a lot of times you could do everything right and they still go their own
mhm.
way.
Yeah, for one thing, every individual got their own mind, and that is true in fact. But
Mm-hmm.
if you're doing it on a percentage of good product and product that's what you call that, uh, it's like going down the assembly line. You feel what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people are step from their teaching, but they'll fall
Right.
right back into line in it. You hear what I'm saying? Everybody take a
Mm-hmm.
detour. You hear what I'm saying? Some way, somehow. You know, sometimes you're gonna always run into derailments, but if they got that right teaching and that right platform, they're gonna get back on track. You feel
Mm-hmm.
me? Right now, we got everybody just all the way in a disarray, all the way down to the little bitty. They could be 2, 3 years old. You understand what I'm saying? Because
Mm-hmm.
it's that letting you get away with stuff. It's that pampering. It's that babying. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That we have allowed for so long. You know, and when it used to be that it wasn't just us raising good, it took a village. Everybody had an input. Everybody had an input on helping with the children. You hear what I'm
Right.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
With your expertise.
Mm-hmm. Before I ask the next question, we had a few comments where Frederica Honey Turner said, "Hey sis, peace and love." She was saying that these kids have an overwhelming sense of entitlement, and she's so over it. This is why we doing this. This is why we talking about this for real. And also we have Tony Bueno, musician. He said the respect factor shown with grace and humility to those deserving of it or placed in a position somewhere, even though you may personally feel they aren't qualified for it. So true.
Hmm.
I don't know what happened to my picture,
Yeah.
but we will get to that. Okay, video. Okay. I don't know. Once I went to the comments, it took my video off, but
Hmm.
yeah. Okay, so um another question or something I wanted to, what do you think far as with the social media? Um how do you think that social media has changed the way young people view success and what they deserve in the form of entitlement?
Well, that social media plays a big platform. Just like my
Mhm.
grandchild here, if you don't move out the way on social media, they'll be having somebody knock on this door. Quit playing with me. What did I say? You know, the platform of social media has caused a real big derailment in our children today because It's just kids do as they see. You get what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
it has wrecked so many different directions and lives of uh, our children, our friends, and family members. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody is into social media. They getting out of realness and they getting into another character. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? They want to be
Mhm.
a part of the in crowd.
Mhm.
You feel me? So yeah, social media has Facebook has
Mhm.
caused a big damage in society as far as our livelihood, you know, and it need to be rectified.
Yeah. So like another sense is the instant gratifications is making patience like a lost skill
Mhm.
because a lot of stuff people just automate. It's like when you do something, they expect something. You know what I mean? Versus the times where it was just that was just what you do. When you clean up, you live here. You know what I mean? You're supposed to do
No,
stuff
they
too.
no no
But the
no. They
instant
not on that right now, baby. They clean up now. They talking about where my $5 at. where what you gonna buy me? What you gonna give
right.
me? You know, on regular cleanup days when you ain't giving nothing, this a problem. You gotta holler and pick up a broom and probably knock them all the way over their doggone heads until them saying, "All right, when you get through, I'm gonna let you go to the park." That house will be cleaned up in 5 or 10 minutes. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Otherwise, they'll prolong to around about 4 and 5 hours in one day. Girl, I'm just trying to tell you, I'm a woman sitting over here. Do you want me to put the number on how many grandchildren I got and great grandchildren? And disrespectful and hard headed, but they get in line.
Hmm.
They get in line, but you know what? It's tiresome. They have to keep on hollering and keep on. So look, 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 look. That's all I can tell you.
Get you
You know,
tripped up.
girl.
Honey was also saying, and the schools are telling them that the parents can't discipline them, and these kids are taking it and run with it. Listen, sister, what you just said is when I seen. That's when I seen that it's an entitlement. Like, and that was then when I really started to see that because I actually remember a time, but I could understand too because I know here in Indiana it was so many child abuse cases. It was so many.
Mm-hmm,
So there is like, so it's like, it was like that was their savior in so many ways
mm-hmm,
in certain situations, though. You see what I'm saying?
mm-hmm,
To discipline your child, but not to the extent. Like I remember growing up, there used to be so many kids that just die from how they parents discipline them. But
mm-hmm,
what she just said right there is when I really seen how kids really start running the parents. That is exact. That is like when I first think about this. That's one of the
mm-hmm,
first things that I think about is what sis just said right there. As far as the fact that once the schools start getting involved with
mm-hmm,
how you discipline your children,
mm-hmm.
then they've been looking at like you can't touch me. I called the laws
Oh
on you. You
yeah,
know what I
that's
mean?
where it really came from.
Yeah,
Girl, my
yeah.
kids
So you
used to
made a
tell
powerful
me,
point, sis.
shoot, I used to tell them kids, and I still tell them right now today, right?
Hmm.
Sometimes you that pocketbook not looking good, but you better believe I got that bail money because I'm gonna slap them right dead upside their doggone head. I don't care what nobody told them, you know,
Right.
and that's bad. But you know, that's when everything took a real big
Yeah.
external turn. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? When them kids was coming home and you couldn't, the regular parents couldn't discipline their children because of the parents that they found that was negligent, that was abusing the children. And see,
Right.
that's how society uh built that they know what they was doing.
Mm.
You understand
Yeah.
what I'm saying? They, they,
Yeah.
they, they knew what they was doing. Because let me tell you something. Um, they strategize every move and everything and every rule and regulation that they make far as we are concerned. They have already thought about it and already played it out and everything before it even come into existence. You feel what I'm saying? We are what you call uh we as human beings being born of this nature. You understand what I'm saying? We are guinea pigs. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It's a mad scientist. You know, I don't even want to go deep into the matrix and all that kind of stuff, but this is the matrix. You feel what I'm saying? Everything is uniform, thought out, predicted, everything before we even step into, oh, we're in a new category. No,
Right.
we're in the category that we walked ourselves into by us being things implanted in our head before we got
Right.
here. So what it's called wake up time.
Yeah.
Wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up.
And
Nobody
I
ain't gotta
asked,
shoot us no more. Nobody ain't
right.
gotta stab us no more. Because we're killing ourselves.
Right.
Lack
Well,
of
with that
knowledge.
right there, if we ask, pardon the body, if we ask those questions, what can we say that we do to be able
Mhm,
to push that instead of just saying it's wake up call? And
mhm,
what are some things that you think, Queen, so that we could do to be able to make this more prevalent in different states, at different how you know what I mean, to where we're at with the situation? Because again, we are part 3, we identifying
mhm,
that it's
mhm,
definitely a problem. It's something that definitely needs to be addressed, definitely needs to be worked with,
mhm,
spoke on, so that way we understand, we acknowledge it. But after acknowledging it, what do we
mhm.
do?
After acknowledging it, it's a long, tedious road. But if you just take one hand and hold on to one hand and
Unity.
send that information there, and that hand holds on to your hand, and
Mm-hmm.
it grabs a hold to another hand. It ain't no
Hmm.
overnight solution, but it's
Right.
but just unifying and being on one accord.
Right. So is that first step what Sister Honey just said right here? Is that these kids need a butt whooping, start whooping butt. is, is that our
Uh,
start? Is that our first step?
I wouldn't say that that would have been my first thing to say about whooping their tails. You feel what I'm saying? But we got to get to some point where we could be able to communicate with these kids
Right.
without so much we it's hard not to put your hands on them, but it's hard to put your hands on them. You feel what I'm saying?
Right. I
Because see,
get that.
these kids are really being turned into like killing robots to me. You feel what I'm saying? You don't know what's being fed through them through the food. You don't know what's being fed through them. Uh, these new drugs that they out here taking. You don't know what they so close. They are so close minded. You
Right.
hear what I'm saying? And they are in the same group going to school in they little groups. Who group is deeper than the next group while doing good, bad, ugly, and whatever.
So in the
It
sense
gotta
of peer
be.
pressures.
It's a lot of pressure. You know what I'm saying? Um, and then there's a lot of different classes of kids where they talking about I'm not gonna put up with this, I ain't gonna put up with that, because that's that overgrown, and if they touch me, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. And so it's always where somebody else, excuse me, want to be a bigger hero, or to go come back and tell their story. Well, I did such and such. Well, shoot, I chopped my mom and them heads off. Shoot, what y'all gonna do? And you sitting up in the electric chair being dead for the rest of your life, or not never
Mm.
seeing life again because somebody is out there. It's always a storyteller out there. You feel what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
which story are you gonna tell? That's gonna intensify you doing something great and being a great person, instead of trying to prove a point to people that then pressured you to doing something that was unthinkable. you know. But so, like I said, it's discipline is there, but you still gotta be at a state of caution when you're disciplining your children, because um they so over it. You
Right.
understand what I'm saying? Because they so over it, think that they got stuff in the bag. Like, you can't tell me anything. I'm smarter than you'll ever be. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
show you how this thing go. The respectability gone.
Mm-hmm. I look
You
at
know
it
what?
like this too.
Yeah.
When it comes to, go ahead, Queen. I'm sorry.
Okay. I was just getting ready to say, that movie say, I'm gonna teach you how to respect me.
That put the, like you said, the iron fist. The iron fist was prevalent back then. They even
Hmm.
just spoke it, just move. You just get
Right.
down. Like, wait a minute. They be looking at you like you're crazy now. So on what we speaking on, so it almost seems like that it's evolving. So we're evolving, whether it be in a good way or a bad way. It's, we see in the how things are evolving. But if you go back and you actually talk to somebody maybe that's like 80, 90 years old, you know, they're gonna say, like, and they've been our age before too. Because I remember they used to say when I was growing up that my
Hmm.
generation was terrible. And I'm an 80s baby.
Hmm.
They used to say my generation was terrible. But I'm just kind of looking at like, y'all wouldn't have nothing to say about us with what we dealing with today. so
Hmm.
so it's
Yeah.
I'm getting to see a lot of what um what the older people was telling me growing up, and I used to be like, we just living our life like, okay, but like now that I'm getting older, and I'm not old,
Hmm.
but now that I'm getting older, I'm starting to see what they're saying in my sense. I'm auntie age now, so like, I'm starting to see like, oh my goodness, this and too much stuff, too much mess to me, too much chaotic stuff to me. That's my retreat. I like peace. I like things to be quiet. If it's too loud for me, I tend to go ahead and say, all right, I'll talk to y'all later. And I'm I'm out of the way because I don't like a lot of noise. You know what I mean? My home stays quiet. You when the children is here, like it's quiet. I like
Hmm.
that. And a lot of people well, I can't say a lot of people come over here because I really do like my peace. But like that's one thing about me versus the fact that when I was younger, I may have liked to be around a whole lot of noise and
Hmm.
but now it's just it's peace. But go
Yeah, man,
ahead.
there's a lot of us that is settling for a peace of mind and a peaceful environment after you done been out there trying to struggle and work. How you gonna keep a roof over your kids' head? How you gonna keep the light bill paid, the gas, the water? When you worrying about livable things that's an essential, you be drained from wanting to argue and beat the kids and not beat the kids, but just put them in their right state of mind because they not understanding that you didn't went out there into the world and had to face something more uh uh bigger than whatever the shenanigans that they want to be on. Like, mama, you're not listening to me right now, baby. I'm too tired right now. You feel what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because society just has tore us down far as in the work field, far as trying to, stay on top, trying to make sure that our children got the best instead of us, taking the time to teach them the fundamentals on, shoot, here go you 3 pairs of pants and here go you 2 shirts that better last you all week long by you keeping it washed, cleaned, and ironed. You know, we would rather take the money that we didn't earn and run into the store in the middle of the night, Walmart or whatever store, stand up so they can have them on fresh gear when they go to school the next day. So for one thing, we putting that inside of their head and they're absorbing it and they're not being appreciative to it. They don't appreciate anything. That's a whole lot got to do with things.
Mhm.
Hmm. Yeah.
I'm
So.
here. I just unplugged my camera a little bit, so I'm trying to
Hmm.
get back on there. We do have another comment while I'm trying to figure this out. It says, yes, and children don't want to listen to know what you've done to get them where they are now. So true. You want
Hmm.
to answer that? Oh, that's Mama Teresa. Peace and love,
Hmm.
sister.
Okay. Yeah, that is the truth. They don't care about your struggles and your strives that you went through to make it happen for them. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
They just don't appreciate. They don't care about what it took for you to do it. Shoot, they worse than the old time pimp from 1970, baby. I want my money. Yeah, yeah. That's how it is right now.
Okay, I'm gonna let y'all. I'm gonna keep talking. I'm gonna add mother, and then while y'all are speaking, I'm gonna go back out with my camera. Okay, but we could keep the conversation going. Peace and love, sister. Hi, mama.
Peace and love,
Peace and
everybody.
love,
That's my
sis.
auntie right there.
Yeah, we just saw your comment up there, so you could go on to speak on what you was trying to say.
Well, right now, this generation, that the children are just out of control. And even though, we've, uh, during our other generations along the way, have taught us to work hard, to have things, to obey and listen. The kids nowadays, they don't want to listen to what you got to say unless it's pertaining to something that they want. It's all about
Hmm.
what they want
Yeah.
and not on helping somebody get somewhere to do something positive, not even
Right.
for themselves. And right
Mm-hmm.
now, with all these generational curse that come along with that, it's making it even worse for the kids to even listen to their
Oh yeah.
moms or dads uh, in the household because they rebelling so much right now in the sense that they feel that they don't have to, that they're privileged to having all these different things that we have given them and made them feel that they don't need this and they don't need that. And like Queen was saying, you had
You knocked off when you got on. Bettina,
Her camera went off.
her camera went on. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. It went through a bad connection.
Oh, okay. Hmm. I guess it'll come back on.
Mm-hmm. She gonna have to, Mama. Um, if you still on,
Oh, just trying to come on now.
I was gonna tell her to come out, take herself out of the studio and come back in. I took her out. She gonna probably have to come out and come back in.
Hmm.
Did it do it?
Hmm.
No, it didn't do it.
Hmm. Yeah. So it's just that put that down. It's just that like we got a long way to recovery. You know what I'm saying? A real long way
But
to
having to
recovery.
start somewhere. To start somewhere, and that has a lot to do with like. Remember how we've been talking for a while, saying as far as the fact of the etiquette class, like etiquettes,
Hmm.
things like that. Even if it's just reintroducing it, some people just really don't know, and we can't
Yeah.
expect that everybody just is raised with the certain standard stuff. You
Hmm.
know, not everybody is raised. Our assumptions could get us wrong sometimes.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
Peace and love, sisters. Hey,
Peace and
beautiful.
love. How you doing?
Can you
Yeah.
hear us, Brittany?
Yep, I can hear
Okay.
you.
How you doing? Happy Sunday to both of you ladies that have just joined us. We got about
You
15
too.
minutes left of our podcast, but we are still drawing on the entitlement of the youth. We in our third part, and honestly, this is a topic that until we start seeing it and doing what we need to do as women, as sisters, to be a part of the solution of whatever we need to do to get to the youth and get that, even if it's not on the part of entitlement, because everything reverts back to self. So it's gonna be that we need to come up with something that we could be able to do to be able to get into the minds of the youth, and remembering that we've been their age before, you know.
Well,
Yeah.
You just
Well, I
joined us, Brittany. What you got on that?
on entitlement,
Yeah. Do you
it's
feel like
tough.
they're entitled, or is it
Most
just far?
definitely. What the way I grew up, I had a
Hmm.
lot of responsibility on me. They was teaching me to wash dishes at 7. You had to get up.
Hmm.
You had homework. I had to look after my little brother. I had to walk my little brother home from school. We were riding a bus at 10 and 11. So now they got less responsibility,
mm-hmm,
less accountability, because what they do is our fault. We're not allowed to chastise them in certain manners. So
mm-hmm,
they, I'm gonna call DCFS. They kind of. So how do you raise your child when it's so many stipulations that's changed from how we were raised? It is you got family curses to break, but there's also some things that wasn't a curse. These kids need it. You need to recognize when you did something wrong. There are a lot of adults that make excuses for your child versus
Right.
telling them you're not going to handle them how you choose to, but you were wrong. You got parents that uphold their child in wrong.
mm-hmm,
Yeah,
Entitlement, and then these the same kids who got bad grades, they got Apple Watches and iPhones.
yeah.
You
mm-hmm,
got 17-year-olds ain't graduated but got a car.
Mm-hmm.
mm-hmm,
They're being rewarded for nothing. You've got nothing. You didn't complete your homework, but you got a whole PlayStation 5 in your room. It's a lot that
mm-hmm,
we can try to do as parents to keep them in line, but it definitely gonna take a village. It's definitely gonna take for the parents to stand up and set the rules and the boundaries in the house. Like you think it's a lot of people think a lot of things like, oh, that's kind of childish or stupid, like a swear jar. I have one. My kids, 15 and 18, their mouth, I won't even be in the room, and I'll be like, and I'll just scream their name
Yeah.
like, I know you know better. I know you know better. And it's not just about using a bad word, it's self respect. It's self
Hmm.
respect. And that's something that we learned. It's self respect. You have to care about what you look like when you step outside. What you say, how you treat people, everything you do comes back to you in one shape or another. You don't walk out
Yeah.
of here without washing up. Keeping yourself together and keep you don't want everything you do is a reflection of me.
Hmm.
How you go out here and you do is a reflection of me on how I raised you. But a lot of the parents aren't saying anything and you washing your hands and backing up. It's not helping because these 16-year-olds, don't get me wrong, I've seen some girls and boys. One is a goddaughter. She just turned 17. She want to go to the streets. She want to smoke. She want to drink. She want to do everything that the internet, TikTok, everybody else is outside doing. I know about 3 or 4 teenagers that are not even interested in having their license. That was everything for us. I couldn't wait to go to driver's ed in high school or to move forward with becoming an adult. But I don't see that in a lot of this generation of kids. They really don't care about much. And
mm-hmm,
if it's not sexual, it's all about the way things look. It's not about who you really are. It's I got this. You may not eat for the next 3 days because you got these $300 pants. What was
Right.
more important? What was more important?
mm-hmm.
A lot of the parents take part in how the kids are out here too. When Lori Lightfoot was out there and was saying, hey, you know, it's a curfew. Get your kids. We had to be in the
Right.
house when the street lights came on.
Yeah,
There's no way they talking about teen takeover at 10 o'clock at night. Why is your 13 and 14-year-old child taking over any type of street on a whether it's a weekend or a school night anyway.
Right.
Mhm.
Where did
Right.
they go, sir? Where are you going? When are you coming back? Who do I talk to make sure that you are where you say you are?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's those are the things that we was getting, but I've seen a lot of loot like our generation, our parenting, these kids run over us, seem to do or say whatever it is they want to say, and then have the entitlement of you are supposed to do this for me. I'm not supposed to do nothing but put a roof over your head and feed you until you can take care of yourself. I tell my kids all the time, my God, I'm here not to boss you. I'm not trying to take control over you. I'm here to give you the guide to start your life with some morality, some faith, and religion, and how you should move when I'm no longer here because I will not be here forever.
Mhm.
Learn what you can get from me now.
Mm. So
And the more, and I got there, I didn't start there. I was yelling and cursing at these kids. Why are you doing this? But mine responded with anger. You know, a lot
Yeah.
of times you get frustrated. Mine responded with anger. What? It was, they say you get more with honey
Peas
then
than
and honey.
spice.
Mhm.
You didn't clean the kitchen. Don't ask me for anything until what I asked you to do is complete. I
Mhm.
came home and you had someone in my house. So now what I have for you, you're not getting. Mom, can I have a play? Can you play my PlayStation Plus? Absolutely not. Is your work or your grades up and down? We're providing them with things they don't deserve. And I
Mhm.
think that's a lot of the first step. And then you don't go, you cannot leave during the week. Unless your assignments, don't make no plans to be gone during the week. Now, when they get 17, that's a little bit different. Trying to understand, trying to work with them through different situations. It's a party. We, like you said, we all kind of been there. We've all been
yeah.
there as teenagers, and I know my mama kept her foot on my neck.
Mhm.
Wasn't no parties, wasn't no staying the night over nobody's house. You're not getting in the car with other people. I'll drop you off if that's what it is. It
Yeah.
was,
Mhm.
I'm gonna keep you close. I'm gonna watch. Respect yourself first. And respect your parents. It shortens your life when you don't.
So true.
So true. But
That
you know,
caused me to be
that's
sneaky though.
part
It
about it.
did. It did. And you know what? I didn't want that for my kids. I
Yeah.
really wanted the relationship where I want you to be open, but I'm not your friend. I'm
Mm.
I'm not here to be your friend. I'm gonna
Yeah,
listen
you
to
do.
you. I'm not gonna judge you, but don't expect for me to lie to you. Don't expect for me to sugarcoat things when you were wrong. Wrong is
Mhm.
wrong.
So true.
And
Yeah.
I go through a lot of it with these kids.
You're
Mhm.
not that
Mama, you
yourself.
was saying something?
And
They
that's
have
what
all these expectations on us and don't feel that they should have to meet any. My son told me, why should I have to clean up behind other people? Why should I have to feed people other than me? Do you pay a light bill, a gas bill? I'm only in my room. If you don't wash those dishes, you will not eat today. Do you eat in my house? You most definitely do. You eat here? Do you use the bathroom? They certainly have their limits on what they willing to do. And it's, well, I'm gonna have mine. It's almost
mm,
like not matching
Pardon.
the energy, but I have expectations the same way you do. And we gonna have to come find a way to meet each other's needs. I'll work with you with something that you're really not good at or don't want to do, but the straight laziness, the sneaking around, the lying. I started talking to them. I want them to open up. That's
mm,
big too. That's why I said I'm not your friend. We're not gonna cross the line, but you do gotta have an open way of communication with your child. And
Very important.
everybody is different.
that's very
Every
important.
kid is different. It's not no handbook. I got two different personalities. One
Mhm.
is willing to listen. One is very stubborn, like shut up talking to me. And then he'll come like, I can't believe you just said that to me. But he likes the time. Okay. Well, you go ahead on. Later on, come back, you sorry. Now you want to talk, but now I don't really want to talk to you because I cannot believe you
Mhm.
actually tried it. So they do, but I found where they like to press my buttons. Because at first I was a
Mhm.
responder. They love it.
Mhm. Pardon the
He,
body. Mama Teresa, did you want to say something? We got about 5 minutes, y'all. The
No, I
last
was
2 minutes
just
we can do.
collaborating on what she was saying. I agree with all that, because but some parents are not being parents like they used to be. They trying to be more of a friend. They want to, get high with the
Okay.
kids so they can be with them and figure they gonna do what they say because they doing what they doing together, and it's only making it worse. Because now when they get ready to rebel on what the situation is, then they throw that back in their face and tell them, "Well, you was getting high with me. You did this.
Hmm.
You partied with me. So how you gonna tell me something?" You know. So then they go back to that type of attitude, and it is sad that that be happening when people out here are trying to still raise children, tell children some of the right things to do, and yet and still they still linger off and get with that crowd of people, and now they done went on to doing other things, the same things the other kids are doing. Like you said, the TikTok is one of the big things they got out here now. The kids are following whatever it is the next children are doing. They see them doing it, now they want to join in and do it. And the same thing with some of the parents, instead of them being parents, then they trying to be friends and they kids friends instead of being the parent. But I just put it all in God's hand, because we can only do, so much as mothers trying to save our children. But we all have to, get together, like you were saying, you and Queen Fatima saying, trying to come up with something to do with these children. Like, I mean, it was just would be unheard of when we were coming up. You all downtown tearing up people's cars and all. I mean, you wouldn't even believe somebody would be doing that. That would be a movie
Right.
somewhere you maybe went to go see. Not real life, but now,
Right.
shoot, you don't know what you may run into or who you may
Mhm.
run into doing things that they don't have no business, you know. And all of it, is not on all the parents. Because you got parents out there to try to do stuff for their kids, they try to lead them the right way, but they still go the other way.
Right.
You know. So I just say, we all had to keep it in prayer and still try to come up with something that we could try to get hold to these kids, mind and changing and maybe something that they can feel like they part of. And like you say, a lot of it deals with the communication, the kids being able to trust you as you can trust them.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's what I told them when we went to when we had that peace treaty, and
Hmm.
I spoke and I told them, I said, we can't just keep on talking at our kids. We got to talk to them where we're
Yes,
listening to what they're saying to us at the same time. It got to be a mutual understanding of interaction with one another. Talking
yes,
at them or talking to them is two different things.
yes, yes. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because they not really hearing you when you just talking at them.
Mm-hmm.
That's going right on across over their head. But
Mm-hmm.
then when you're talking, and y'all having a conversation, whereas they can speak their opinion on whatever it
Mm-hmm.
is that they feeling about or going through, and then you talk back to them, and y'all both collaborate on trying to make something work.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Hmm.
it's not an overnight job. It got to be done. You feel what I'm
Oh
saying?
no,
Because everything that took place, it wasn't handed to them on a clean plate. It wasn't like our hands wasn't dirty in the situation. You feel what I'm
Right.
saying? So we got to
Mhm.
wash our hands, and we need to all get in a bowl and wash our hands together. You hear what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
On both ends, on the adults and on the children, on the ones that's going to be young adults and grown up people too. You hear what I'm saying? Um,
Mhm.
we have to find a foundation where we could have respect with one another enough to trust that person. You
Mhm.
know, it's a lot of trust in them and left out with these kids too, because a lot of them has had to fend for themselves, you know. So
Mhm.
it's a long journey, but it ain't a journey that we ain't took before. You
All
feel
right.
me?
So we
Yeah.
are going to wrap up this episode, our part three of the entitlement of the youth. Our next segment that we come with the entitlement of the youth, y'all, we gonna actually come to y'all with some solutions. Okay, so be looking forward to what we come up with as Aisha sisters on what we need to do. You know what I mean to push this move forward. Um, I'm gonna go around, even though we are at our hour. We're gonna go
Hmm.
around. Everybody can have something to say before we close out. Um, Brittany, do you have anything that you want to add to this topic to close us out? Beautifully.
Um, just for the most part, I say as a parent, stay faithful, pray in your household, pray over your kids. And I just have to say, definitely talk to God before you start talking to them. Because there's been plenty of times where if you talk to them with a bad temper or you're not in a place where you can actually give some love and understanding toward them,
Mm-hmm.
I've had to take a minute before even addressing a situation. But
Mhm.
definitely don't, we will lose ourselves in parenting. I've lost my temper and everything else, but definitely I say self check first and then God next.
All
All
right.
right,
That's my
Mother
thing.
Teresa.
Yeah, I
Thank
just elaborating on what she was saying. That is so true. You know, you have to be ready to have yourself in a good place when you're going to speak to your children about any subject. Because if you're already angry, you're only gonna make things worse. You're not gonna get any kind of point across to them or for yourself, as far as that go. So, and then, like I always say, you know, you put prayer in whatever you're doing first, you know, and
Mhm.
let God lead you through that storm, or whether it's good or bad, let God keep the faith and trusting in God.
you.
All right.
Amen. Queen, you want to go ahead
Yeah,
and
well, I just want to tell everybody, I can't wait until the next episode come on because we over our time limit and we're scheduled to do something again. But just I want y'all to absorb what we had going on today, and hope you all join us again, uh, so we can respond and have some solutions to this situation that's taking place. You get the flow for 10 minutes.
all right. All right, sisters and brothers, thank you for watching us again for another episode of the Aisha Sister Show. And everything they said, I'm not even going to, because I know that we have to go. So I'm going to wrap this up. And I'm looking forward to the solutions that we come up with. So be looking forward to that podcast and other ideas that we have. If you have any podcast ideas, please reach out to us and let us know so we can cover the topics. We'd love to be able to give our thoughts and also send in our prayers to each and every one that's watching and listening. We thank you again for watching another episode of the Aisha Sister Podcast. See y'all
Amen.
later.
Peace and
Goodbye.
blessings, everybody.
Peace and blessings.